welcome to Denver. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Great to see you. I've been watching you since 2001, the judging Amy, and of course Smallville. Thank God for that. Of all the roles you've done, which are really varied, which one for you was the most challenging to actually pull off?
Well, someone mentioned the other day, I didn't realize it. I think it was in Miami 2 days ago. They were like, of the 6 projects that you've been a part of, 3, those characters played football to some extent. One being Clark, the other one in Cheaper by the Dozen, and then in Draft Day. I think probably Smallville was the most difficult or challenging because of the duration of the series. At the same time, having played that character so long, it does, in a sense, become second nature. So a lot of, I guess now is, what I'm trying to do is find characters that are different from that character, just to challenge myself.
Do you find it hard to let it go?
Yeah, in a sense that, like from an acting point of view, like physically, yes. You know, because Clark had a way of moving through a room and walking and turning, and it does get ingrained, and so you try to prepare yourself when you go into new roles to just not do that, or to try to do something different.
This was obviously a fun role. What's your next project?
I don't know. That's honestly, I don't know. I'm not signed on to anything right now, so I'm really just enjoying this.
What are some roles you'd like to take in the next few years? Bucket list roles.
All of them.
You played a superhero, a quarterback. What's next?
I was in Dallas yesterday, and I had the same question, and I said I didn't know, and somebody said, what about a cowboy? And I was like, that's a great idea. Let's try a cowboy.
Boy's dream, right? Yes, right there.
Good evening. One quick comment and then a quick question after that.
Is it positive?
It's positive.
Okay. Proceed.
It's awesome for me to watch you actually be on screen with the other Jonathan Kent.
Yeah.
So that was
Thank you.
pretty awesome. My question was, how much of the of that script was in some way, shape, or form? Was any of it like based off of any of the real drafts in themselves?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure Ivan or maybe Kevin could answer that better. I don't know if it was. It sure feels like it was. So.
It felt very adapted to something.
Yeah.
Question?
Yes.
So what do you really bench now?
Me?
You were wearing pads under that, right?
I don't know. I haven't. You know what? When I was a senior in high school, I benched 250 pounds,
Yeah, me too.
and that was the last time I did it.
But you,
That was just yesterday.
but you only have to do it twice, right, to get the T-shirt?
I don't. I may have done it once.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know if I did it twice.
I'm just curious.
So did you play football, and what position did you play?
I was not allowed to play football.
Oh.
My father played football all the way through college and never allowed my brother or myself to ever play. We played in the backyard, and, I'll go out and throw the football with my friends now, but I played baseball, soccer, and basketball.
What'd you play in baseball?
Shortstop, pitcher. Yeah. My knees are probably better for not having played.
Did you have a favorite number? Like, because you were number 12 in the film, correct? I think.
Yeah, I didn't have anything to do with
Ah,
that.
okay.
No.
So if you could play football, which team would you play for and what position?
Careful.
Yeah.
Careful. Your answer.
I definitely wouldn't play for the Seahawks. No way. It cost me
Good
way
answer.
too much money in the Super Bowl. I would play quarterback, though, or try. Yeah.
Where are you from?
I was born in New York.
Where?
Yeah. Putnam Valley. Upstate a little bit.
And where'd you go to college?
I didn't go to college.
High school?
I finished high school.
Okay.
Yep. In a way, being on Smallville for 10 years, I felt like I went to college and graduate school. In a sense. That's the way I look at it.
So going back to his question over there, working with Kevin Costner, did you share any Superman stories?
It's funny, we didn't. When I mentioned earlier that Kevin came over and started, and I realized now that what he was doing was really just making me feel calm and comfortable. But he started the conversation. I did a movie that came out earlier this year called Parkland about the JFK assassination.
Yeah.
And thanks. And that's how he started. He's like, hey, I heard you did this movie. And I was like, yeah, how'd you know that? And he's like, well, I know. So he started talking about his experience on JFK and stuff like that. And I asked him if he knew who actually assassinated Kennedy. He said no, but he's still trying to find out. He said he'd let me know.
Let us know when you find out.
All right.
How did you get started in the business? How did you get your big break, if you will?
I'd done a few commercials when I was living in New York, and then I came out to LA to try to give it a shot, and it was Judging Amy, which was mentioned before. It's actually a funny story. I showed up, and I went into this audition room, and it was about 8 guys, and I was at least 15 years younger than all of them. And I kind of was like, man, that agent sucks. I gotta get a new agent. And I auditioned for the role, didn't get it. And they called about 5 or 6 days later, and they said the guy who they'd cast can't do it, something with his kids, so they want to rewrite it so that the character's 10 years younger. And so I went in there, and it was 3 episodes, and then they called like halfway through the 3rd episode, and they were going, once you come back for 3 more. And it was during that last episode where Smallville came up, and I remember having the conversation with Amy Brenneman, like, hey, what do you think about this? And she was like, well, we talked about it a little bit, and next thing you know, I was in Vancouver.
When you started Smallville, did you have any idea how huge it would become?
No, I to be honest, I knew it was something special, but to go 10 years and have the success that it did, no, even the writers didn't know that. I mean, going into like season 5 and 6, the writers were like, oh, what are we gonna do? You know, I mean, and after 10 years, really, we had nothing else to do. And that's kind of why it came to a close.
Can you do us a favor and get a lead role in your next movie?
I'm trying. I would love that. Thank you.
Yes, right there.
Did you meet any famous football players during that movie?
You know, I did. There's a guy who, when I got the role, that night I was telling a friend of mine, hey, I got this movie and I don't know what I'm going to do with it. And he said his good friend was Matt Leinart, who's an NFL quarterback who lives in Manhattan Beach, and I live in Los Angeles. So we went down the next day, and I sat with him for about 2 hours talking about what it is to be a quarterback and what the lifestyle is and things like that. And he was a big help. And I just found out today that when I get to LA, I think it was on Sunday, Extra, he's actually going to be interviewing me.
Really?
Yeah, he just texted me earlier today. He's like, hey, it's my first gig, take it easy on me. I was like, hell no.
Well, I'll be tuning in for that, for sure. All right, right back there.
Cleveland used to be a pretty major rival of ours.
Is that right?
Talk about it.
But my question is, when you were growing up, what was your favorite team that you watched, and what was the biggest rival of that team?
Well, I grew up playing more sports than watching them. But I grew up in Delaware, so there were a lot of Eagles games that were on. And was it Cunningham was a quarterback back then? Yeah. And I just don't remember even who their rivals were. It was probably the Jets or somebody like that. I mean, there's so many rivalries now. But yeah, I remember that. In Super Bowls, I've pretty much seen every Super Bowl. I think I missed one in like '98. Other than that, I've seen most of the Super Bowls.
98.
As a director, when you get an acting role, does that do you find that you look at it through a director's eye and you take that skill set and that helps you prepare for your performance?
It does. It informs my preparation for sure. What it really does is help me when I'm communicating with the director, because early on in Smallville, when I hadn't directed, there were things that directors ask you to do or do again, and you're kind of like, you don't understand why they're asking. Maybe you just did it, and then when I got behind the camera, I heard myself asking some of those same things, and I'm like, oh, that's why they asked you to do it. Because there's a lot of things that are going on that have nothing to do with me. Ah, I see. But it does help a lot. And where I get in trouble sometimes if I'm on set, and then I start to get distracted from the acting because I'm thinking about the directing aspects, so I kind of have to turn that side of my brain on.
So as a director, what did you take away from your experience working with Ivan Reitman?
That you can have an effective environment that's calm and focused, and you can have a good time. It doesn't have to be, no one has to be mean, everybody can treat everyone with respect, and you can see the result. I mean, it's seamless. I feel like this is just a solid movie. Like, I don't know how anyone can walk out, I don't know how anyone can walk out of this movie and go, I didn't like it. I don't know how to do it. And the transitions that they use between the scenes where there was overlapping, I mean, it just kept the pace going the whole time, where you just feel the real time of it. It's relentless. It's great.
Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any interest in writing, or so what kind of movie, play, whatever?
I have a great deal of respect for writers because I can't write a thank you note. I love writers. I love giving them notes, but I don't know if I'll ever sit down. I'm not sure I got that one.
I think there was a question in the back.
All right, first things first, the people back here, man, they love you, okay? Second, you say you're from New York, so I just want to know, who's your football team, man? Yep, I had to put you on the spot.
No, that's all right. That's all right. I'm around watching football a lot. I don't necessarily have a favorite team, but my best friends are Patriots fans and Cowboy fans, so I see a lot of those games. Yeah. But my favorite game to watch is Monday Night Football, because there's always that sense of occasion and everything's so focused and the coverage is always so cool. I like that.
Is there another question back there?
Oh, we can't see you
We
anyway
can't
with
see
those
you.
lights.
Was it fun destroying his office?
Yeah. Yeah. Let me tell you why.
That's part of the movie, right?
So that's sort of a funny thing because I was up in Cleveland for weeks, and I had this break, this 5-day break where I was going to come back and shoot that scene. And I remember complaining a little bit, like, come on, all I do is go up and knock this stuff off. Can't we just do it on the side? So I was like, no, we can't. So I flew back to Los Angeles, spent a couple days, flew back that morning, and they were really pressed for time. And it's all set up, and they had I think 4 or 5 cameras on it. And we rehearsed it a little bit without knocking it over. And they said, let's really try to get this because the reset is like 45 minutes, and that's like a big deal, and takes up a lot of time. So on action, we went in. I cleared the desk. I walk out, and there was a big pause, and then you heard cut. And then a couple more minutes of pause. And then Ivan walks in and he goes, "We got it. You're wrapped." And we got it in one take. And then we walked away from it. So that's what you see there. So I flew to Cleveland to do that, and I flew out that night.
All right, we have time for one more question. So make it a good one. Anyone?
Are you going on the top circuit to promote draft day?
Yeah, I was already in Miami, and then Dallas yesterday, and then I go to Los Angeles for a few days, and then there'll be New York as well.
Who are you going to be on in LA, like Jimmy Fallon?
I don't know. You should see this schedule. It's like I'm like one at a time at this point. I hope so. Jimmy's great. I've been on that show before, and he's so much fun. Well, his other show. Now he's got this new show. So maybe it's not as fun.
Thank you so much for being here. Let's give another round of applause to Tom.